We're live everywhere, huh?
Let's go.
Beautiful. All right. Hit record. All right, guys, as you're watching this live, I'm going to be doing a master class for my community members, but I'm going to give you guys access just to watch from your end, watching live. And to be honest with you, it's 48 days left, right, James? 48 days left until the new year. If you were to start today on who you want to become next year, you have 48 days to be ahead of anyone else starting. So if you just dedicate today or tomorrow to the new thing you want to do or the new person you want to become, you have a head start. You don't have to wait until January 1st. It's so frustrating when I talk to people and they always tell me they're going to wait till Monday, or they're going to wait till tomorrow, I'm going to wait till the new year. Don't. Just start today. Start right now. Quit drinking now. Quit smoking now. Quit whatever habit you want to quit. Quit it now. Don't wait till Monday. So many people just keep postponing who they need to become. And then what happens is that day comes and you're not ready. You're never going to be ready. You're never going to have the perfect situation where you're ready. So it's important that you take massive action now and today into becoming that person you need to become. So today, what we're going to talk about is crafting your new identity. You're not going to be able to see my screen. So for those of you watching, if you do want access to this PDF, just shoot me a DM and I'll get you some access to it. But you're going to hear me break down exactly what you have to do in order to craft your new identity. So I'm going to go ahead and for anyone on here, they can see my screen. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share this screen. Guys, if you have any questions, please drop in the comments below. Me and James will get to them when we're done doing this. So crafting your new reality. This guide is designed to help you reflect on your past, understand your present, and vividly craft your future self, creating the life you desire. You are the architect of your life. You are a born creator. Each of you are holding a divine spark of limitless potential. That's by Gary Zukov. To create your future reality, become the architect of your narrative. Consciously design and step into the life you envision by embodying your future self. A lot of us, unfortunately, let our past dictate our present, and then now we let our present dictate our future. And you want to flip that around. You want to let your future self, who you want to be in the future, truly pull you forward to who you need to be. Let your future self make the rules. Let that make the decisions you're going to make today. When you make decisions today, make sure the future self, that future version of you, is going to be happy you made that decision. I use the example of buying things. You put something on a credit card because you have an urge to purchase something. You want to fill a void in your life. So you go ahead and buy the new pair of shoes, or the new handbag, or the new whatever. And then you punt it up to your future self to deal with that bill when it comes in. And if you make decisions from the perspective of your future self, am I going to want to pay this bill 6 months from now, or a year from now, or next month? And if the answer is yes, then buy it. If the answer is probably going to be no because you really can't afford it, so you're putting it on a credit card, well, you're leaving that up to your future self. Is that next drink going to make your future self happy when you wake up in the morning, go to the gym, and you're hungover? Or you have to wake up for your client in the morning. So always make a decision from your future self perspective. And if you start doing that, your life gets a lot easier. Now, your past itself, we're going to get into that in a minute, but you can truly change what the meaning your past has based on how you associate those events happening to you, whether they were good or whether they were bad, whether they were learning lessons. So if you start looking at past experiences as just stepping stones or valuable lessons to help project you into the future self that you're imagining you're going to be, it changes everything. So step one is we're going to reflect and review your past reality. When you start thinking of the past, it's really important that you give gratitude to everything that happened to you. There is a lesson to be learned. And if you don't learn that lesson, the past will repeat itself. History in your life will begin to repeat itself, and those experiences will get louder and louder and louder. Step two, reflect and review your current reality. Take take an account of all of your habits and your actions and where you're currently at, the money you're making, the friends that you have, the actions you're taking, the habits that you have. Step 3, you're going to craft your new future reality. So to reach new levels, you must identify new standards to hold yourself to. Your future self is the most important thing you can create. This version of you who has all the skills, who has all the habits. We're going to get into that in a minute. Then we're going to talk about building a vision board. I know vision boards were like really big in the secret. And I wasn't really big in the vision boards, to be honest with you. It just seemed like a lot of work. And I don't know, I didn't really wrap my head around the need to have a vision board. And then I started looking at different people in the manifestation space, and like everyone talks about the vision board. I was really good at envisioning my life and picturing the things that I wanted. But something happens when you actually take action on your vision board and you go searching for the home. It's fun. Searching for the car to put on your vision board, the color you want, the make, the model, what size home, the size of the yard, the color of the house, the type of watch you want, the type of handbag you want, anything and everything that you want in your future that you can envision, you could picture, put it on this vision board. After you're done with that vision board, step 5, writing your success statements. Now, I'm a big believer in affirmations. I'm a big believer in reading your goals daily, if not once a day. I like to read them 3 times a day. There is the 3-6-9 rule. And in the morning, you read your goals 3 times, or you actually write them down 3 times. In the afternoon, you write them down 6 times. And then in the evening before bed, to really drive it into your subconscious, you write it down 9 times. So that is called the 3-6-9 rule. Writing your success statements is a little bit different. These are things that you're projecting yourself to your future self as if it already happened. You're giving gratitude. So if you have a particular number you want to make every month, like I, Nicholas Mirabella, make $1 million every single month by adding value to the world. Whatever it is for you, that is your success statement. So in step 1, reviewing your past reality. So you're going to reflect on the past to understand how it shapes your present, identify the key differences between who you were 10 years ago, 3 years ago, and 1 year ago. Focus on your habits that you had, decisions, and mindset. So part 1 is think back 10 years ago. I want you to think about who you were, the skills that you had, the things that you were doing, your knowledge, your skills, and then really write down everything and everything you could think of, like who you were back then, your true identity, the things you believe to be true that are no longer true. Then go back 3 years ago. How much changed from 10 years ago to 3 years ago? Who was that person? How are they different from the 10-year self? And then go back to 12 months ago. How is that person different from 10 years ago and 3 years ago? If you're younger, like you're in your 20s, it's going to be a little difficult. But if you're in your 40s and 30s, you could really go back and anything you thought that was true isn't true. Like just for the conversation's sake, like if you're 20 right now and you go back 10 years, you may have thought that Santa Claus was real. He may still be real for some of you, but there's certain things that you believe to be true, like a boogeyman under the bed. Like you can get as simple as stupid things like that. Like think about all the things that you thought were true. I remember when I was driving the car with my aunt. She was drinking Diet Coke, and this is back in the 80s. And when like drinking and driving, you should not do. Like that whole thing was coming out when, you know, you shouldn't drink and drive. And the 80s were reckless. So these commercials were all over TV. And she was drinking a Coke and driving. And as young as I was, like, you shouldn't drink and drive. I thought she was breaking the law. Like that's how ridiculous that thought was. But that was something I thought that was true back then. And as basic as that is, like think about the just crazy ideas that you thought were true that now thinking and looking back, you're like, wow, I was so stupid for thinking that. But you weren't. That was just your current self. That was your reality back then. And obviously, as you grow and you mature, you realize that there are new truths. There are new truths to you. Like there's a new reality for you. And the reason why I want you to start with the past is because now it's going to give you clarity on how big you can make your future. Because if you think about the crazy things that you thought were true 10 years ago, now imagine how big you can make 10 years from now. So step 2, reviewing your current reality. Review your current reality is the second step towards getting awareness, making intentional changes, and paving the way for your future self. There's a series of questions here. Describe your current identity and reality in a few sentences, who you are right now. Who are you? Like currently today, who are you? Like, like if someone had to describe who you were, what would they say about you? That's what I want you to do right here. How much money do you currently make? How much money do you want to make? Like we're going to start tipping into the future a little bit. But how much do you make? Why do you only make that much? Like, do you want to make more? Do you not want to make more? Like, how much money do you make? All right. What are your bad habits or behaviors you tend to fall back on? Identify your default actions that hold you back from growth. So one of the lessons is action habits audit that's in the community. And it's very basic. I'll tell you guys what it is right now. You literally take a piece of paper like this with like a blank one, okay? Draw a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, away. On the right-hand side, towards. You're going to literally list out all your actions and habits and everything you do on a regular basis. It's going to go into 1 to 2 columns. Things that bring you away from your goal and things that bring you towards your goal. So I want you to list out some of those behaviors and habits that are really bringing you away from your goal, that you tend just to fall back on because you're comfortable there. Now, what are your good habits or behaviors that serve you well? They're the things that you do that help push you towards your goals, to help push you to become a better version of you. List out the routines, the practices, and anything else that helps support your success. All right. What are some of the character traits that you would like to change, and why haven't you yet? This is like a really good exercise to do because so many people want to make a change or they want to change something about them, but for whatever reason, you don't. Like, I like to use working out as an example. Why aren't you working out in the morning if you know you should be and you want to? Why haven't you quit smoking or drinking yet? Why haven't you done the things that you know you should be changing? Like, why not? What's the thing that's stopping you? Are you attached to that person? Is there a time in your life that action or habit creates a happy memory for you? There's really only 2 reasons why people do things. They're either avoiding pain or they're seeking pleasure. And that's the reason why they do or don't do things, to be honest with you. So what are those traits that you are having a hard time changing or getting rid of? What are your positive character traits and abilities unique to you? Like everybody has a superpower. What is your superpower? What do you do better than anybody else? There has to be something out there that you could really lean on. Number 7, what automatic negative thoughts, we call them ants, pop into your head daily? Like pinpoint the thoughts that cause you anxiety, stress, and overwhelm. When you start thinking about the new client coming in, especially if you're a new hairstylist on the floor or maybe hiring a new person or training your staff, like what are the things that pop into the back of your mind? Like, oh, if I train this person, they're going to leave like everybody else does. Like there's some automatic negative thoughts that always pop into your head. And it's these negative thoughts that are tied to a past experience usually. And it's really important that you identify them and you have to ask them, are they really true? Like, how can I make sure that these thoughts stop happening to me? But I want you to first get clarity on what those thoughts are. And they happen all the time to people. They happen to me all the time. I have such crazy thoughts that pop in my head. And I'm a pretty optimistic, positive person. But, you know, when you always stretch and you always reach to do better, which is what we're doing in this program, and we're always trying to just become the best version of ourselves, like there's always that thought, like, who are you? That imposter syndrome, like, am I deserving of this? That was a big one for me. Do I deserve success? And you almost begin to self-sabotage things because out of fear, right? And a lot of times you want to make sure that you always want to be right. Like if you believe a certain thing, you're going to do everything in your power to make it true. So it's important that you identify what these negative thoughts are. Do any past events replay in your mind often? Do you have any reoccurring memories, and how do they affect you today? So we did the past exercise before, and it's like, what are these past events that kind of always replay in your mind? Is it you had to walk out of your salon? Is it a client who hated her hair? Is it just something that was negative in your past that you keep replaying? Now, here's a funny thing. If you guys know who Joe Dispenza is, your body, when you start replaying these past events in your mind, actually produce the same amount of chemicals as if you're going through it again right now. So when you start replaying past events, whether they're positive or negative, it really releases the chemicals that got released during that event. So if you were stressed or going through a really hard time and you keep replaying those events in your mind, you're going to release the stress chemicals. So check out Joe Dispenza. If you don't know who he is, he's amazing. He has a ton of videos on that. All right. What things do you worry about in the future? This is a big one. Like, what are you worried about? Like, what about the future scares you? Create a list of all your future concerns, like anything and everything that you're worried about happening down the road, 5 years from now, in the future, with your kids, as you get older. Any fears that you have, any worries about the future, list them out. Now, what skills do you need to develop, or what needs to be true about your life so these worries go away? Like if you could put the worries on a piece of paper, take a look at them, and then each one just assign a skill that you need to make sure that worry is non-existent, or what needs to be true in your life so that worry will never manifest. So I want you to do that. Like, take your time on these exercises. Like, they're really powerful. What things block you from doing what you want to do each day and working towards your dreams and goals? So there's things that block us, and it could be a person, it could be an action, a habit, it could be a belief system that you have. What are the things that are blocking you from doing what you truly want to do? And it could be you say yes to too many people. It could be something, something in your life that you can't get rid of. You can't get rid of this habit. You can't get rid of this person. What is that thing that's blocking you? What's that thought that's blocking you? Why have you not attained your dream life yet, or your dream outcome yet from your business or your salon? Is there anyone or anything you are currently angry at? Like, what are the people or things that you blame? Who are these people? And here's a really powerful question to ask yourself. If you think you're not angry at somebody, take a minute, really think about this one. Subconsciously, there was an event in your past that may be affecting you and you don't even realize it. There may be somebody or something that you're angry at. And you have to truly forgive it. But if you kind of just brush it under the rug and you don't get clarity on what that is and don't face that anger, it's going to haunt you. So go back, go deep in your subconscious, really think about the things you're angry at, and think about presently, like, what gets you irritated? What are you mad at? Who is that person? What is that thing? And then what people or things do you blame if you can't think of anything that you're angry at? Like, are you blaming somebody for a current situation that you're in? Are you blaming a person? Are you blaming a character trait? Are you blaming your parents for the situation that you're in? Like, what are you blaming? Who are you blaming? Once you take full ownership of those things, everything gets easier. I control every single thing in my life. Everything. I don't put the blame on anybody. It's always my fault. And what that does is it gives me power to control the outcomes that I want. What things do you love doing and could happily do every day? Like your dream life. What do you love doing every day? What would you do every day if you could just do one or two things like that really bring you joy, bring you passion? What things do you love doing? Is it gardening? Is it working out? Is it cutting hair? Is it coloring hair? Is it maybe editing videos for social media? Like, you just love doing that. No one else loves doing that, but you love doing it in your salon. You like doing payroll. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, it's what you love doing, not me. So think about all the things that you love doing. A lot of times the things you're really good at, you eventually start loving to do because you're good at them. They become effortless. And I want you to ask yourself for number 14, what things do you hate doing and never want to do again? What irritates you? List them out because you need to stop doing them and only focus on the things that you love doing. Number 15, if you never had any fear, turn the brightness up just a touch. If you never had any fear, be it fear of failure or fear of success, what would your day-to-day life be like right now? All right, so that is taking an account and an audit of your present-day self. We're going to talk about understanding the power of your future self again. So like I said before, your future needs to pull you forward in your present self. Like you get pulled forward by who you want to be in the future. Your future self is going to dictate what your actions are today based on the outcomes that you want. And you're going to put yourself in that present state. I really want you to start thinking about who this person is. What are their habits? What skills do they have? Who is your future self? And then you start redefining what the past really means. You start giving it gratitude because if that past never happened, it wouldn't make who you were today. Now, to unlock your full potential, you need to grasp the transformative power of your future self. Your future self is more than just a vision. It's the driving force that shapes your present. By vividly imagining the person you aspire to become and the life you want to create, you give yourself a clear, compelling reason to act differently now. The future vision doesn't just inspire you, it pulls you forward, motivating you to make choices that align with your highest goals. So as you prepare to craft your future reality, remember this. Your future self has the power to direct your present, and your present has the power to rewrite your past. Use this understanding to step boldly into the life you are ready to create. So step 3, we're going to craft our future reality. All right, guys, drop in the comments, James, if you're watching right now. We're going to probably go to Q&A. If you guys have ever thought about these questions before, or if you really want to change who you are and you want to change your future self. So if any questions are popping up, feel free to ask them. I'm going to jump into the Q&A after this. All right, so step 3, crafting your future reality. Picture your future self, the one who is living at your highest potential, crushing your goals. That might seem impossible right now. This isn't just about dreaming big. It's about getting clear on the habits, standards, and skills your future self embodies. And start by implementing them today. Let this vision pull you forward, getting your actions and helping you break free from anything holding you back. Your future self is waiting. Let's make it real. What daily habits and routines does your future self have? What have they mastered? What specific changes do you need to make right now to become that person? Question 2, how does your future self handle changes and setbacks? And what strengths has he or she cultivated to navigate obstacles effectively? What kind of relationships has your future self built? And how do these connections contribute to a life of meaning and success for him or her? What skills and knowledge has your future self mastered, and how have these accomplishments transformed the opportunities available to you? So when I asked you before what needs to be true about your life so your fears go away, or what skills you need to have, this is that answer. This is that question again. Like, I want you to think about who you are 10 years from now. Is it the salon owner who has a team of 20, team of 30? Do you have a chain of salons? Like, what is it that you do? Do you start a product line? Do you own a product line? Like, are you a partner with somebody? Do you educate on stages? Are you a platform artist? Are you working Fashion Week? Like, and if that is who you want to be, what skills do you need to have? What do you need to master? If it's leading a team and running a big salon with a group of people, you have to be a great leader. What leadership books are you reading right now? What skills do you have to be able to lead that team? Emotional intelligence, leadership, crucial conversations. Like, there's a lot of skills required when you lead a team. There's a quote that I love. It's an army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lion led by a sheep. Leadership is one of the most important skills that you have to develop. So now we're going to jump into 10 years from now. We're going to go into the future. You wrote the past, you relived it again, you got the present all figured out. Imagine the skills, knowledge, and experiences you've gained. What do you say yes or no to? What kind of relationships have you cultivated, and how have you impacted others? 3 years, think about how you've grown in your career. Excuse me. 3 years from now, think about how you've grown in your career, your personal achievements, and how you handle challenges. How have your priorities shifted? What goals have you accomplished that once seemed far off? Like 3 years from now, what do you think is almost impossible? Like that you're going to have accomplished? Like that you just had everything in front of you, all the challenges, and you knocked them all down. You went right through them, or you went around them. You figured out a way. So 1 year from now, picture the immediate progress you made. What decisions have propelled you forward? How have your daily habits evolved to support you and your vision? Last question. What does your future self need to prioritize for personal growth and success? What must you start saying no to stay focused and aligned with that vision? Think about commitments you have now, distractions or habits that you need to let go of to stay focused and aligned with that vision for your 10-year self or your 3-year self. Sometimes it's not about adding things on your plate or things you're saying yes to. You have to strip things away. It's about saying no to things. Saying no to things helps you say yes to the things that are important. This is probably the most important question in this whole entire document. This is something that I learned. It was from a video I watched with Dr. Benjamin Hardy, and Dan Martell says this a lot. Alex Hormozi says this a lot. Steve Jobs said this in one of his quotes. It's not about the things you say yes to. It's about the things you say no to. And as business owners and entrepreneurs and busy parents, we get pulled in a million different directions. And there's a lot of commitments that we have. And if you make a commitment to this future version of you, this future goal, you have to be in a season of no. You have to say no to all the things, all the shiny objects that pop up, all the opportunities that are going to be thrown on your plate. They're tests. Does it align with who you need to be and where you're going? And if it does not, then you have to say no to that. So right now, we're going to craft our vision board. I want you guys to get very crystal clear on what you want to create. Sometimes when you start creating your vision boards, you get crazy and carried away and it seems too out of reach. So if you can't really project yourself that far in the future and it gives you a feeling of anxiety, then scale it back a little bit, right? Make sure it feels tangible to you. Make sure you truly feel like you can grasp it. But part of this exercise is to make you feel uncomfortable. It's to help you identify what needs to be true in your life and what skills you need to have, so these things that you're putting in this vision board are actually possible and they're going to be part of your reality. So I want you to make it a little uncomfortable, make it a little bit of a reach here. Like I put my vision board right down here. I got a private jet. I got a beautiful beach home. I got a winter house in the mountains where it's snowing. I got bars of gold. I got a lion and his cub, right? I want to be a warrior, a protector for my family. I got a family jumping up and down on vacation. I have a boat. I have a picture of Alex Hormozi, a picture of Tony Robbins. Like these are people like I love. I think, you know, Tony Robbins is one of my heroes. Like to think about what he's done in the personal development space, what he does and how he speaks and how he commands attention at his events. If you've never been to a Tony Robbins event, they're amazing. He is not a motivation guy. He's a strategist. He goes deep into strategy when it comes to business and life and health. And like he's probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, inspirational strategist of our time. And then Alex Hormozi, he's just a beast. He's just, you know, I think he's like maybe in his 30s right now. And he's, at this moment of this video, I think he's doing like $250 million a year out of all his portfolio companies and his companies. Like he's an icon. So shout out to you, Alex, if you're watching this. But step 5, we're going to write your success statements. These statements, now that you have figured out who you need to become, what it is that you want, what do you know is possible, you designed the framework for your new identity. These statements are what I use every single day. I read them every single day to myself. There's an author called, her name is Florence Scovel Shinn. She wrote the book called Your Word is Your Wand, The Game of Life and How to Play It, or The Game of Life and How to Win It. One of those two variables. And she wrote a bunch of great books. I love her. She's amazing. She has a quote: "Thy word is thy wand, filled with magic and power. Be very careful how you use your word." When you say, "I'm so fat, that's too hard, I'm never going to get that." When you say, "I wish, maybe that's not for me," like, and it's your true desire, and you start saying negative things, that amplifies in the universe. Your word is very powerful. I want you to start thinking with the statements, "I am, I'm grateful for, thank you for, I have." You will start speaking things into existence. I did this firsthand when I got back into hair again and I wasn't making any money. I created my success statements. And I think at the time it was, I, Nicholas Mirabella, make $400 every week or $500 every week. And then I moved it to $750. Then I moved it to from $750 to $1,000. I was like, wow, I hit $1,000 that week. I read this like every day, like 4 or 5 times a day. I read my success statement. And I went from $400 a week that January to, I think, September. I was doing consistently $4,000 a week behind the chair. By the next year, I was having $25,000 months in a year. Like, my life changed. And obviously I put work in. I didn't just sit in my couch and have my success statements magically bring me income or clients. You know, I learned the skills of marketing. I created good content. I engaged with people. I posted content every day. I made myself available for clients. There's things that I did to make that a reality for me. But I said it every day. And when I said it every day, all the obstacles that I thought were obstacles actually became opportunities for me. I changed the way I saw things. And now I transform my success statements. There's so many on this list. You know, I start with, "Thank you, God, for my healthy family," every single day. That's my first premier success statement. Without your health, you have nothing. So I always focus on health. I'm so grateful to have a healthy family. I'm so blessed, and I feel that. And when I read these statements, I get myself into a state, and I do this by reliving a past event that I was my most happiest, whether it was the birth of my child, whether it was, I remember there's a moment in time, you hear me say this a lot, it was Thanksgiving Day. I'm riding my bike, and for whatever reason, I was excited. My cousins were coming over, and it was a great day. And this is very vivid in my memory. It was like warm, and it was just a good day. Like, ever have a good day in your memory? For whatever reason, you remember it. I go back into that time. I think I might have got a new bike or something. That's why I was so extra happy. Then there was a time playing outside when I was a kid, like 7 years old. There was times, my father taking me to my karate matches, and I was winning first place. I go into these moments of my time that I felt just accomplished and I feel great. And they change, you know, every single day. I kind of relive a different moment. But before I read my success statements, I get into that state. And when I read them, I'm just vibing a lot higher. A lot of times I'll do a post-workout. Sometimes I won't read these first thing in the morning. I'll do it after I'm done working out, where like my dopamine's high, my epinephrine, my adrenaline's going, like I'm extra happy and I'm vibing high. Then I'll read into these. So whatever works for you, do that. These success statements are mine. I add to them every day. A lot of you guys right now watching, you can't see what is on my screen, but I'll read some of them to you. My thoughts and decisions positively impact my family and my own health and well-being. I make $1 million every month with the value I add to the world. I'm a world-class leader and business visionary. I'm a winner. I have 100 stylists on my salon team, each averaging $3,000 a week in sales. Like, I put things in here for other people. Like, I want my team to be doing great things. And what else do I have in here? Oh, I tore my pec, so I have 100% strength in my chest and my back. I hurt my back a while ago. Money flows to me effortlessly. I give and receive all in life with love. What else do I have here? Thank you, God, for everything you have blessed me with in my life. And I have a couple other good ones in here. I deserve everything I want. This is important. A lot of times we feel like we don't deserve things. And in my life, I felt like I had to work super hard in order to attain anything. And if I didn't work hard, I didn't deserve it. But that's just not true. Like, the stories you tell yourself aren't always true. So I need to remind myself, I deserve nice things. I wouldn't buy certain things for myself because I felt like I didn't deserve it. I didn't get there yet. I didn't have, the $100 million business yet. And it's just not true. Not everything's about money, obviously, but a lot of this, because this is a business program, a lot of my goals revolve around money. And for me, that's my scoreboard. I'm not a professional athlete. I'm a professional businessman. In addition to these money goals, I'm building a legacy for my family. I inspire millions with my New York Times bestselling book. Like, I have a lot of things are inspiring people. I add value to 200 million people a year. Like, my biggest thing I truly get passion from is motivating and inspiring people. So whatever drives you, whatever makes you feel happy, just in here right now, I play with my grandkids as if I'm 25. I will dance with my daughter at her wedding. I put Grace in here, but it's like these things are for fitness goals for me. Like, whatever your success statement is, write it, live it, and just be free with it. Like, there's no like set way to do it. This is what worked for me. If there's a better way that works for you, write the statement that way. So this is the way to craft your new reality. And you do it by getting clear on the past, getting clear who you are right now, and then figuring out who you need to be in the future. And then from that future self, you pull yourself forward. I'm going to hop out of here. All right, so I'm going to retake that again before we jump into Q&A, James. So that is how you create your future reality. You are the architect of your life. Really, really take the time to work on these questions and go deep. At the time you watch this video, some of the questions might change a little bit because this is my first draft that I'm filming for you guys. But this is how you create your future self and your future life, by stepping into that person, by identifying what needs to be true about your life, what needs to be true about your actions, what skills you need to have, and then you just compound those skills and build on them every single day. And then you eventually will step into your future self. And it's magical. It's amazing. Like, I never thought I would be in the position where I'm at right now, and I'm just at the beginning of this part of my career. And I've read a statement that I created. It was Thanksgiving 2017. I think that's 7 years now. And in there, I put that I would have some kind of a coaching program or a business, and I just listed all these things out, and I wrote it, and I didn't really think much of it. It's in my Evernote where I keep a lot of my goals and everything. And every now and then, I think typically every Thanksgiving, I may pop in there and read it. And it might have missed a couple years because I've really put my head down and worked. And just recently, I opened it up. I was cleaning out my Evernote, and I'm reading through it, and I got really choked up because I'm like, holy shit, like, I did it. So take the time to write it out. Something magical happens when you write things out. So do it. I'm excited to see and hear how these results, how these questions triggered an emotion out of you, and how it made you change the way you look at things and actually made you change who you want to become in the future. You are the architect of your life. So get to work. And I hope this really sparks a lot of emotion out of you and impacts you in a positive way. James, we got any questions in there?
No, it's a light day today.
Awesome.
Someone just asked if you made this up or you got it for somebody else.
Yeah, I made this up as a collective of all the things that all the classes I've had, all the coaches I've had in my life. So this is my thing, and it's just what worked for me.
Lots of thank yous, but no questions.
Cool. Yeah, it was not a big Q&A type of thing. So I'll give everyone like a couple seconds to ask any questions. It could be about anything.
Keep in mind they're about like 15 to 30 seconds behind.
Oh yeah? All right, cool.
Yeah. What they're seeing on Instagram.
I got to get like a monitor for behind the camera so I don't keep looking down.
We can get one of those.
We can get everything. Actually, we'll probably use the TV next time.
They have monitors.
All right, guys, that's it for live today then. James, no questions, going once, going twice. I'm going to edit this, get it up for the community. We got one?
What if you're struggling to get out of a bad rut by Sarah B. Hair Color?
All right, if you're struggling to get out of a bad rut, what's the lesson you're not learning from the rut that it keeps on keeping you in the rut? Like there's something that you're not figuring out or you're not learning from that experience. So you have to ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me that I'm ignoring, or I'm not learning the lesson from it? And then what needs to be true about the skills that I'm not getting, or I'm not learning, or I'm not acquiring in order for me to get out of this rut? And are you self-sabotaging because you have a negative belief about yourself or about the thing you're trying to attain? And so in order to be honest with yourself, you're self-sabotaging to make it true. And that is a really hard reality for a lot of people. But there is a skill that you can learn to help you get out of that rut. And are you avoiding it because you're afraid of what's next? Or you're afraid of the unknown? Because if you do get out of the rut, I don't know what your situation is, but typically you haven't learned the lesson yet to get you out of the rut. So learn the lesson or get the skill you need to get out of that rut. Any more questions?
Yeah.
Cool.
Rob Hair Artisan.
Okay.
Move this mic closer so it doesn't sound like I'm yelling. This is all great. My challenge is getting team to buy into change that needs to happen. Is it my lack of confidence?
Oh, yeah, bro. Like when you're trying to get your team to buy into change, you have to be confident. Like you have to, believe it. How does it benefit them and how does it benefit you? Has to be win-win. And then you have to get around like the belief that it's like truly like you believe it. Whatever change you're trying to get them to take, you have to believe it's the best thing in the world. Like you have to come in amped up for the change. And you have to find out from them, specifically on an individual level on your team. You're going to do this in a group setting, but individually, find out what the goals are. Like what drives that person on an individual level, and then try and figure out how that change you want to implement is going to positively impact that person and their career. And so it can't be done in mass. It can't be like buckshot, like a shotgun. It's got to be a sniper. You got to snipe the change for each person and identify a particular goal they have, and then how this change is going to positively impact the goal and how it will affect them. A lot of us as owners, we throw some blanket change on everybody and realize that it doesn't really impact the masses. It might impact me, but how's that going to impact that person on the level they needed to impact them on, to something that really truly affects them in their career and their life and their family? That's leadership. Simon Sinek has a lot of great books out there. One in particular is Leaders Eat Last. It's a really good book if you haven't read it. James, any more questions?
Nope.
All right, cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today's live. If you are in the academy, this is going to be posted up soon in the academy. Hopefully I didn't butcher it up too much trying to do the live and trying to do the exercise here. But that is Crafting Your New Reality. See you later, and thanks for watching, whoever stayed on to the live.
See you tomorrow.